There we go. All right, let's continue. So let me just quickly revise what I just said. All right. So we expounded and defined each type of training. The first one was on-the-job training. We said that this is training while you're working to help develop your skills in the job. Right. The second one, we said that was mentorship, where you get coached by someone who's more experienced than you. They give you advice and support. All right. The third one we said was succession training, where your skills and abilities are developed for you to become successful in a promotion. So, in other words, the employee came to you and said, if you get these valuable assets for the company, you will be given a promotion. Get these, you are promoted. Okay. And the final one, tuition assistance, is where an employee can go on additional training courses offered by the employer to help build up their knowledge and skills. Right? And then now I ended the section with a quote to just simply say, the future of the nation lies in the school bags of the children. This is by Dr. Eric Williams, the first Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. And I said that Trinidad and Tobago, based on the case study we did, right, only just invested in education in 2015, right? So in 2015, they gave $10 billion to education, but in 1950s, they saw it as a burden, right? So that's to show you the difference in the mindset when it comes to importance that this has to developing your country. All right, so that's the end of this section. Any questions?
I'm sorry.
All right. And in good spirit, remember I always give activities, hashtag activity. There you go. The activity for this section is going to be for you to give 3 reasons why education is seen as an important investment to the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. I don't know what happened there. Okay. Can you get? Okay, there we go. My screen goes. Okay. Give 3 reasons why education is seen as an important investment to the Prime Minister in Trinidad and Tobago, and how long or how has the view of education in the Caribbean changed since the 1950s, as I said. Right? And the final one, write a sentence about the role. Well, no, you know what? I'll keep that for another time. So here are the vocabulary terms that you should keep in mind. All right, let's put vocabulary terms. Let's go here. Put vocabulary. Education, knowledge, human resource. There you go. My bad. That's not supposed to be there. There you go. Okay. It's education, knowledge, human resource development, employee, employer, on-the-job training, mentorship, subsection training, and tuition assistance. Those are the vocabulary terms for this section. Right? So we can move on now, because that was the first 2. We are now moving on to the third topic of the day, which is going to be building our nation. Sounds like a motto of a country. Building our nation. All right? So we build our schools on thee, oh God. Do you guys know your school song? It's actually a national school song. Do you guys know it?
Which one, sir?
That's
I'm
shocking.
not. I'm not sure. It's
Yeah, it is a national school song. Every school is supposed to know the song. It's we build our school on the... Oh my, I feel old
I
then.
never heard of that song, sir.
All right, so when class is finished, look up Jamaica national song, national school song. So every school on for example, Jamaica Day is supposed to sing one song, which is the national one. I feel old. All right, please look that up for me, and next class I'll teach you it if you don't remember it. Okay.
Sorry, I know that song.
Well, you know it. Okay, good.
We sing
Good.
it at Jamaica Day.
Right. Good. Thank you. At least one person can see it. The sun is making me look different. Hold on. There we go. That's way too dark. Oh, still too dark. All right, that's fine. Okay, so let's continue now. Building our nation. So, as I said, we have responsibilities as citizens. Right, something? It is a responsibility of all citizens in our country to take part in nation building. Right? But what is nation building? And what does that mean in terms of taking part? Well, we call taking part patriotism. So the responsibility, the pride and responsibility for taking part is called hashtag patriotism. Right? This gives a sense of belonging to each citizen. This gives a sense of belonging to each citizen. Okay. So, what is the importance of recognizing that you are responsible for building your country? What is the significance of this independence? Because if you weren't independent, if you were just a monarch belonging to a monarch, that sense of patriotism might be a little bit different. But let's look at the significance of independence. So, knowing about national heroes, why we celebrate Jamaica Day and everything, right? Heritage Day and all those um, celebrations, it gives us a sense of joy and pride because they helped to pave the way for the future. They became the role models, so to speak, and create the way for new history to be made. They show us things like courage, honor, and justice. So they are really symbolic. So, right for me, heroes are symbols for all of us with qualities that we would like to have. Right? I'm gonna give you a quick example of a man called Sir John Compton. Right? It's a case study. Case study. This man is a true embodiment of this topic. So just learning of his scenario of building the nation will help us to accomplish this topic. So Sir John Compton was born on Canoan, St. Vincent, and the Grenadines in 1925. Let, just make sure that you guys are following along with me. Let me just put it here. Let's read it together. There we go. All right. But moved to St. Lucia when he was 13 years old. He became the first and only premier of St. Lucia in 1967. So you're going to look up this word for me. Premier. What is a premier? There we go. All right. Let's go here. What is a premier? Hashtag activity. Okay. Okay. So he was born in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, but moved to St. Lucia when he was 13. He became the first and only premier of St. Lucia in 1967, while it was still a colony, and led the country to associated statehood and independence in 1979. Following this, he became St. Lucia's first prime minister in 1979. He was deeply committed to regional unity. He is well known for his role of establishing the CARICOM, the Caribbean Development Bank, the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, and the Eastern Caribbean Common Market. There's a lot of acronyms, I'm not gonna lie. Like all Caribbean leaders emerging out of the colonial era, Sir John Compton fought strenuously for the rights of his working class and the poor. He is credited with modernizing his adopted homeland. He introduced banana as the main income earner to assist with the development of St. Lucia. So let's go back to the definition of what building a nation is. Responsibility of all citizens to take part in nation building. Wouldn't you agree that Mr. John Compton helped to literally build St. Lucia?
Sure.
Right. Became their first prime minister, gave them a crop to literally survive off of, which is, but didn't give him, but he revolutionized it, right? So modernized it. And essentially, he developed all these systems to give them independence in the first place. So he had extreme pride and belonging to St. Lucia for his efforts to be so strenuous. Okay, let's answer a few questions about Mr. John Compton. Okay, question one. What contributions, question one, what contributions did Sir John Compton make to his adopted country? Sene.
He gave them a crop.
Crop, okay. Introduced the banana crop. Anything else? Tristan.
Sure.
What contributions did Sir John Compton make to his adopted country of St. Lucia?
Uh, am I in rights?
Right. Okay. All right. That's pretty general, but I get what you're saying in terms of getting rights for the persons that are in the working class and the poor, right? Brandon, any other contribution you can think of as it relates to what Sir John Compton did for his adopted country of St. Lucia, Brandon?
Agriculture, sure.
Agriculture, which is the banana crop, right? Right.
What about tourism? Because you can um open up a tourism and show how the slaves and how he runs a banana farm every day. Because you have some food persons who would like to know the basics and like to know where the food originated from.
Right. I can, yeah. So, in other words, he created industries for St. Lucia. Right.
Yes, sir.
Right. So let's look back on it quickly. So, as Tristan said, he fought for the rights of the working class. That's correct. As Sane said, let's see what Sane said. Introduced the banana crop. Right. Where did it say? Yeah. He introduced bananas. And then, as Brandon said, he really diversified and made sure St. Lucia had different industries, such as they were a part of the CARICOM, right? He created the CARICOM just for that reason. He developed the Caribbean Development Bank, the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, and the Eastern Caribbean Common Market, right? And he, on a whole, just assisted to become the main income earner for the development of St. Lucia, right? And the second question, question two. create a list. Here we go. Because it doesn't make sense for you to just hear these acronyms and you don't really value it. So here's what you're going to do. Create a list, nothing too hard, of the major Caribbean institutions that Sir John Compton helped to make. Right? And if you have the textbook, which I gave you last term, it is on page 59. Let's write that. Page 59. Put that in. There we go. So when you're finished studying, right? Because now it's studying time again. Page 59 in the book that I gave you last term would be where you find the list of the institutions that he helped to develop. So that's building a nation, really. But again, there's some quick vocabulary terms that I want you to understand. Responsibility. Vocabulary term, let's go here. All right, I'm gonna put vocabulary terms. Responsibility, nation building, patriotism, and nation. All right, okay, so that little example, as I said, you really see how easy it made us to understand what building a nation is. All right, okay. So let's quickly ask this question. As a citizen of your country, everyone, why is it important that you help to build it? We're gonna each take a turn to answer this question. As a citizen of your country, Sine, why is it important that you help to build Jamaica? Should the development of your country, shouldn't it just be the development responsibility of the government and not you? Think about it. Why is it important that I partake in becoming a citizen that values my country and help to build it for the tomorrow?
I'm not sure, sir.
All right, let me kind of paint a picture for you. Okay, Jamaica has almost 3 million persons as your right. Institutions that are made to really uh, house these persons, such as education-wise schools, right? They only have them for a certain period of time. Like for example, high school is at most 5 years. After 5 years, what is going to happen? You're not going to go to another school. It's optional. So when you have that responsibility of yourself, right? Those 3 million persons after they left high school, the country cannot, I would say, be held fully responsible for their next action because the institution that is there for that is the schools. So it's your responsibility to develop yourself firstly and then help your country. So it's important because those 3 million persons that are hypothetically out of high school would be very strenuous for the country to hold and basically hold your hand. So why is it important? It helps to build the country in terms of having its 3 million population, or even more for some other countries, be self-sufficient and able to provide for themselves. Here's another example. With the pandemic that has happened, you realize that the fact that no one was working, the country itself had a budget to give to persons that lost their jobs, which is called a stimulus package, right? That's the responsibility of the country. So when you work, it's the exact difference or the exact opposite. When you work, you actually pay the government as a little, I would say, debt, and you call that tax. So helping to build your country through working, that's needed because it helps to give tax money to build important infrastructure as well as to develop the country. Understand? So it's a two-sided coin. It's one for the tax money so that they can actually help to sustain the country. But on the same side, it's also to help with just maintaining such a large population. Because if everybody's not working, no country exists. Okay. The next question. Find at least 3 definitions of the following words. Well, we're going to do this together, so not to worry. Of the following words: responsibility, patriotism, and nation building. Responsibility, patriotism, and nation building. So, give me a definition of each. It's perfect that we have more than 3 persons here. So, Sunny, give me a definition for responsibility. What do you think responsibility on a whole means?
Definition of responsibility.
Yeah. Responsibility.
It's like a job you have to do.
Something about have to do. Okay. I like that word. Have to do. So in other words, let's try to summarize this, right? Have to do, something that you have to do. It's your let's put here. So our responsibility is an agreement, right? To do something. You agreed to do it. Okay. Patriotism, Tristan.
Devoting yourself to your country, so.
All right. Devoting yourself to your country. All right. And nation building. Well, I think I'd use this definition, Tristan, for nation building. Patriotism is just that sense of belonging. So it's not actionable. It's just, I have extreme love for my country, right? That's patriotism. Sense of belonging and pride for your country. But now when you devote yourself to your country, Tristan, that's what we call nation building. Right? It's a little bit different. Patriotism is a thought, nation building is the action. Understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we're gonna now discuss this. Which definition? Wait, first of all, let me get a quick reference for you. Let's go responsibility. Just to see, just to show you what the definition in the book actually is. Because there's different types of responsibility. So here. All right, perfect. Is a duty or something you are accountable for. So it's really the same thing, an agreement. Let's put it here. Or in other words, a duty or something you are accountable for. Okay, which definition makes the most sense to you? In other words, which one do you think applies to your situation? 10 minutes remaining. So let me give you some context. Discuss which definition makes the most sense to you. So we've done one step, which is to just write a quick sentence or two explaining each term. But now, tell me which one would you really advocate for? Huh?
Responsibility.
Responsibility, and why so?
Because you're responsible to what you do.
Mhm.
Responsible. And
Remember, relate it to yourself. So in the case of your daily activities, are there things that you are responsible for?
yeah, sure.
Right? There's some duties that you are accountable for. So that means it's make the most sense to you because you actively use this concept. Anybody else? Think of your parents now. The one that would be most fit to your parents would be nation building. Right? They're devoting themselves every day, waking up at 7 o'clock in the morning, making you breakfast and go to work, not only because to pay the rent, but they are devoting themselves to developing you as a child and the country by paying tax. Right? So that would make the most sense to them. And the patriotism, that would be for persons that are in the military or in civic duty, like policemen and policemen and so forth. That sense of belonging and pride, because we do know that it's not fiscally why they joined the army or the military, is to contribute to the country back, give back. So that's patriotism, right? Or in other words, devoting yourself to your country. Okay, so that was building our nation. Let's go here. Okay. And the final topic for today, back up here. First of all, is there any questions?
No, sir.
All right. Okay. So, right. We have the next one being health and health concerns. Well, we're running through these topics because when we start back normal classes, I want us to be a case where we can actually have discussions, not just me dictating notes, but discussions. Because if you disagree with me, that's a case where we learn together. But I want us to have discussions. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to define and use correctly the terms health, health concerns, and health indicator. Okay, let's look at health. Let's look at health. If you're a healthy person, what does that mean? Brandon. Brandon, what does it mean to be healthy?
Active.
Active, physically, mentally, emotionally.
Yeah. I mean, physical and mental.
Okay, all right. So health is just taking care of yourself, right? So when a population takes care of itself, it's not only beneficial to them, actually. Think about it. A country is really responsible for you. So if you have diabetes and you are on a healthcare plan, the country is actually taking care of you. Understand? So that's where I'm going to tell you now is that when a population takes care of itself, the country benefits. When you are healthy and not fat and you're not obese, the country benefits. Let's explain why. Okay, let's write that down. When a population takes care of its health, there are many benefits for the country on a whole. That's right. The first one is just the availability of you just you being able to work now. So working age adults who are not obese can work and be productive to support families. And in doing that, they contribute to tax. That's one. Two is that people live longer and have a better quality of life when they are healthy. People live longer and have a better quality of life when they are healthy. Okay. And here's the biggest one of them all. Government reduces spending on treatments for you. Government reduces spending on treatments. So we're going to put benefits here. That's benefits. Right? So it's not only beneficial to the country, right? But why exactly would I want to know about the health, and what could I use? There are certain health indicators, and we touched on this when we talk about mortality rate, infant mortality rate. What comes to mind again, guys?
Babies
Right, babies, right?
die.
So there are three things that determine how your population is in terms of health. How long they are expected to live, because each country based on their culture do have a different life expectancy. Like America, as you can tell, fast food chain and everything reduces their life expectancy compared to people in Italy. I watched this interesting documentary. People in Italy in a small village, because their diet is so concentrated to just one type of thing, they don't eat many fast food and everything. Their life expectancy is actually 105. It's crazy. That village is just old people that are 102, 105. The oldest person there was 115, right? I think around there. So having these indicators, they call them blue dots, blue spots, blue dots, right? So in Italy, when they want to find out who are the persons that are the healthiest, they look on the elderly persons, compare their diets, and see what's the health indicator. They realize that their life expectancy is better, maternal care, right? How the mothers care for their child when they're giving birth, and the infant mortality rate was the three biggest factors in giving them health indicators. Let's write up. There are three main health indicators for a country to use to assess the health of the population. We said previously, infant mortality rate. Think about it. What does infant mortality rate means again? Remind me.
Babies die.
Anybody remembers? What does infant mortality rate mean?
Children dying.
Right. Rate. The rate at which children die per year. Right? So infant mortality rate is the number of deaths per 1,000 infants under the age of 1. Right? Why is this an important metric? We call these metrics. If I know how long my population can live and how short their life can live, I can now know the range of the lifespan. Got that? So if I know the maximum of persons that are this age and the maximum of persons that are young, I can know the health indicator as to what is happening. The second one is maternal care. Maternal care is just care that is available for mothers during pregnancy, such as the hospitals and the nurses, right? So that when they're giving birth, the newborn is taken care of.